Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a strange case of Sean here with the 12th chapter of my story, New World Order, Undertaker. A story written by me with some assistance from ChatGPT. Before we get started, I'm going to give a quick recap of the last chapter, but be sure to check out that video and the videos for the previous chapters as well. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate all support. Now in chapter 11, we saw Dusty Rhodes welcome back Sting to WCW. The Undertaker spoils the return to mock Sting and Dusty. Sting then challenges anyone who is loyal to the nWo to a match that night. Then, Vampiro came out and offers himself up to face Sting in hopes to prove his worth to the nWo. Taker accepts the offer, but unfortunately for Vampiro, he couldn't get the job done, and also ate a diamond cutter for his troubles. Backstage, we saw the new WCW Tag Team Champions, Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho, being interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund when they were interrupted by the Steiner brothers, who expressed resentment for being excluded from the championship opportunities and made their intentions clear that they want their titles back. On Thunder, we saw Macho Man Randy Savage mention Sting was hurt on Nitro, but he and Luger still wanted to fight with the nWo. Vampiro pleaded for another chance to prove his worth, but Paul said that Taker was no longer interested. Diamond Dallas Page offered his services to Savage and Luger, to which they accepted. In the main event, the nWo faced off with Savage and Luger. DDP was supposed to join them, but he didn't appear. Savage and Luger were able to gain a victory after Paul ordered Kane to leave the match after the nWo were not working well together. During their victory, we saw footage backstage of DDP fighting Vampiro. In the midst of the brawl, DDP looked to hit a diamond cutter, but Vampiro countered, which led to DDP falling from a high ledge and the feed going out. What will be the aftermath of this? Well, let's find out, shall we? On an episode of Nitro, we see WCW Executive Vice President Dusty Rhodes make his entrance. He acknowledges the crowd, but you can tell something is bothering him. He enters the ring and grabs a microphone. He begins. "It is great to see you all once again. I wish I had better news to share. It looks like our friend Diamond Dallas Page is going to be out for a while after that cowardly attack from Vampiro. He surely will get his sooner than later. But right now, we have to look to what is to come at the Bash at the Beach." Then, the music of Vampiro interrupts. He makes his entrance, still sporting an nWo shirt. He begins to speak as he prepares to enter the ring. "Dusty, I told myself I shouldn't do it. I tried to fight it, to keep it locked away. But the more it raged inside of me, the hotter my blood got, the louder the voices got. And somewhere, deep down, I knew something's gotta give." Paul's words struck me down. I felt unwanted, I felt undeserving. And it was thanks to people like you, people like DDP, and every single idiot fan that cheers guys like him on. The crowd boos. Vampiro enters the ring. He continues. "I spend a lot of time trying to cool down the blood in these veins and silence the sounds in this head. But then I thought to myself, I am more than this. I am more capable than this. But just how capable am I? See, Dusty? I snapped. I finally snapped. I saw DDP warming up backstage, and instinct took over. I tore into him, but he did fight back, and I liked that. Then things may have gone too far. As in he, DDP, went far off that scaffold. The voices didn't mention that would happen, but the sick truth, the fight was fun. His stumble was satisfying. And I'm seething to see just what exact brutality this brain will come up with next." The crowd boos some more. Dusty and Vampiro get in each other's faces. Dusty raises the mic to respond when the music of the nWo plays, led by their leader and WCW World Heavyweight Champion, The Undertaker. He is joined by Paul. They enter the ring. Paul hands Taker a mic. He begins. "Vampiro, you've been somewhat of a thorn in the side of the nWo for a while now. Frankly, the top thing on my agenda tonight was to destroy you. I even saw what you did on Thunder. You crossed a line, most would say. But I say different. You didn't just call your move, you embraced the chaos, you fed on it, and you thrived. That kind of darkness, that kind of instinct, it's something I can respect. The nWo isn't for the weak, it isn't for the ones who play by the rules. It's for the ones willing to tear it all down and laugh while it burns. And Vampiro, you've shown me you're exactly that. So with that said, you are able to stand with this order. Vampiro is ecstatic while Rhodes grows more angry. Taker continues. Now I see another item on my agenda that I need to cross off my list. Taker stares at Dusty. Taker looks at Vampiro and moves his head towards Dusty. Taker hands his championship to Paul. Taker and Vampiro then approach Dusty. Dusty puts his hands up ready to defend himself. Then, Booker T runs down the ramp with a steel chair. He hits Vampiro in the back with the chair, while Taker and Paul leave the ring. Vampiro rolls out of the ring and regroups with Taker and Paul. Booker grabs a microphone. He begins. Vampiro, you want to creep in the shadows and jump people from behind? Then how about you step up and face me man to man in that ring at Bash at the Beach? The crowd cheers. Booker T continues. Now don't get it twisted. Stevie Ray, I haven't forgot about you. Your day is coming, and when it does, you're gonna pay. But right now, Vampiro, let's see what you do with a fight face to face with me. The crowd cheers, and Vampiro nods his head. Backstage, we see Mean Gene Okerlund, ready for an interview when he calls over the returning Bret the Hitman Hart. The crowd cheers. Mean Gene asks Hart to give the fans an update on his recovery and plans for his return. Hart speaks. You know me, Gene, it's been a rough time for me. I got hurt pretty bad, but with that said, suddenly, one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions, Chris Jericho, interrupts the interview segment. He begins. Well, the great Bret Hitman Hart is back. You know, it's incredible to see you back, but not nearly as incredible as how fast you could put an audience to sleep. But don't worry, Hitman. Stick around long enough and I can teach you a thing or two about entertainment. Bret keeps his composure, and then Scott Steiner walks up. He stares at Jericho and Hart. He begins. Listen up. Y'all both need to shut up. Especially you, Jericho, because the fact is this. The Steiner brothers are about to take those tag team #1 contender spots. Jericho, you run your mouth because that's all you got. You and Malenko got lucky winning those belts. And Bret, you come back strutting around like you still own the place, but newsflash, this ain't the same WCW you'd left. The Steiners are bigger, stronger, and meaner than ever. We're not here to make friends, we're done sitting on the sidelines, and we don't care nWo, WCW, or who else is standing in our way. We're back to take what's ours. Steiner and Jericho walk away from each other, while Hart glances at both of them and then walks off. Later in the night, we see a tag team match for the #1 contendership for the WCW Tag Team Championship. Rick and Scott Steiner make their entrance with determined looks. Their opponents are the team of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. The bell rings and the match begins. Eddie and Rey start strong using quick tags, fast counters, and aerial offense to outmaneuver the Steiners. Rey dazzles the crowd with springboard dives and head scissors, frustrating Scott. Eddie takes control with technical wrestling, forcing Rick to regroup. Rey nearly scores the upset after a springboard hurricanrana, but the Steiners get desperate. Eddie tries to save his partner, but gets leveled by a shoulder tackle from Scott on the floor. Rick then hits a top rope Steiner bulldog on Rey. Rick covers Rey, and the referee slides in position to begin the count. Then we see Scott hold Rey's leg down, keeping him from being able to kick out. The referee counts to 3, and the Steiners become the new #1 contenders. They've now earned a title match against Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko for Bash at the Beach. On an episode of Thunder, Paul makes his entrance alone. He enters the ring and grabs a microphone. I'm here tonight to serve as a voice of reason, a voice for prosperity and collaboration. Almighty Sting, I implore you to turn your back. Turn your back on those who will eventually betray you. You are welcome in our order. No one else has to get hurt. Heed Taker's words. The soil is welcome to all. But it doesn't have to be. I look forward to your return and your answer. The crowd boos. Then we hear... The lights then go out. They come back on, and Sting is standing behind Paul. Sting then pulls back Paul's head and hits him with a scorpion death drop. Paul is laid out. Sting then picks up the microphone. He begins. If that wasn't clear for you, let me make it clear as crystal. I don't want just Undertaker. I don't want just 2 members of the nWo. I want the whole damn army. But even I know to do that would bring my demise. I'm not afraid to perish. I'm just going to do everything I can before that happens. Now I know I'm not alone in this fight. I have 2 megastars in Lex Luger and Randy Savage, ready to stand and fight. So Mark, you bring yourself and any 2 of your guys to take us on at Bash at the Beach. The crowd cheers. Sting continues. Mark, look at your lackey here. Sting uses the bat to point at Paul. He continues. That's your future. The only difference is you'll wake up and see me 6 feet above you. Suddenly, Taker appears on the Titantron. Taker responds. You haven't played chess before, have you, Sting? Too busy surfing waves, chasing highs, and escaping the reality you live in. Let me give you a free lesson. You should always keep your strategy close to your chess. You plan the moves and the pieces for those moves, but you don't spoil your own plan. You build your own disaster that way. It's one thing to do that to yourself, but to do that to your pieces is another. Then the camera shows Curt Hennig attacking Lex Luger backstage. We then see Vampiro attacking Randy Savage. Sting then goes to exit the ring, but giant flames shoot up around the ring ropes. Taker continues. In chess, you protect your pieces. You care for them and utilize them at the right time. And you'll see that time is near. But before that, remember this. You can never outplay the King of Terrors. Sting stares at the Titantron when he is suddenly attacked from behind by the returning outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Hall bashes Sting with big shots and Nash delivers strong kicks. Hall hits an outsider's edge to Sting. Nash then picks him up and hits a ginormous jackknife powerbomb. The outsiders pose over a broken Sting to end Thunder. Bash at the Beach looks to be on a course for a night of wicked destruction. Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko, the WCW Tag Team Champions, have an opportunity to show their title victory wasn't a fluke, as they will defend against the Steiners. Vampiro, the newest recruit to the nWo, answers a challenge from Booker T. And the main event will see a star-studded 6-man tag match, as Sting declares war against the nWo, bringing in Lex Luger and Randy Savage to take on the nWo's outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and The Undertaker. Who will the night belong to? We shall see in the next chapter. Thanks for watching, stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.